I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
The Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ all of you. Please invite your friends. And today we have a very important topic. You know, in the previous video we were answering and refuting some Hindus. And in the comment there is some people who supposedly Christians. Obviously they have a very wrong understanding of the Bible, and this is why today we are making this video. If I go to the comment section, but I'm not going to waste my time and go back, because already some of those, they posted their comment here in the chat. So let us go over them. That will summarize for us how people, they really, how the ignorance of people. And don't be upset if I call you ignorant. You know me, I'm just a person who describes people as they are. I don't paint you. I saw many quotations from people in the comment section quoting the book of Psalm. And here you see the stupidity. And sorry, I have to say the word stupid, because if you're adult, mature, and then you are quoting from me the book of Psalm to prove something about sin, you forget that the book of Psalm is not God words, it is man words to God. This is a book written to God, not God speaking to the man. So it's a very foolishness of people to say what they say and to quote what they are quoting. This is a man, he wrote a poet repenting to God. The whole poet is about I repent, I seek forgiveness. Please forgive me. And he is speaking about how wicked he was. Describe himself, he is being, you know, he is, this is how you do it when you are seeking forgiveness. You know, you have to go down to earth and say, God, forgive me. I was wicked since my birth, which means I have nothing good I did. He himself confessed his sin. But the naive ones, they take what David said and they claim that God said. And that is the stupidity itself. You sound like a Muslim. You know, a Muslim, he do not know what he's talking about. And he mixed between, you see, when we say the Bible, in the Bible, there is verses, Satan, he said. Why you don't quote to me Satan too? David was a very bad man. Extremely bad man. And the Bible itself, and he described himself, as you see, he is saying how wicked he is. So the foolish ones, they are all over the chat, or over the comment section, saying, look what David said. Look what David said, you know. Crazy people, crazy, and they don't have education. If you go to the comment section, let us show you some, just for fun. So here the discussion about David. So if David, he says he was wicked since birth, That's mean David, he knew, and he is God. And David, he knew what happened inside the mother, his mother womb. I cannot find like a description for the ignorance of those people. A man is crying for God. God, forgive me. I was sinner since my birth. I was bad. I was horrible. I did nothing good. And then you quote for that, this sinner man who is crying for God forgiveness. You quote him to prove a point which is not there. You see, we as a Christians, we don't follow David. And David is not the one who will explain even the Bible for us. David himself, as you see, he described himself as a wicked man. Extremely wicked man. To the point he killed a man to take his wife. But you will notice that David himself, when God, he took his son. David is speaking about going to his son because he believed that his son is going to be in heaven. Why? Because he's a child, he's innocent, he did not do anything wrong. If we ask those funny people, like this guy, Butster, Philon, do you believe that God is justice? He will say, yeah, God is just and justice. Okay, so is it just that I'm born sinner? What is that? That is silly and stupid of you to say. You are just actually calling God names. When the disciple of Jesus, they describe even the ones who reject Jesus and the evil one, they are wicked since their birth, the same as David. He is describing that he did nothing good. Those people did nothing good since their birth until now. From the time they are in the womb of their mother until now, they did not do anything good. It doesn't mean that in the womb of their mother they were doing bad. That would be silly and that would be stupid of you to say such a thing. Other person, he came and he said this in the comment. Let's see this comment. And he is quoting again from the book of Psalm. Yeah. So, you know, very funny people. And if a person, he says to God, you tempted me. Does that mean really God tempted him? Well, he made him a king. If I became so rich, if now me, myself, I become so rich, do you think my life will stay the same? Do you think I will not be tempted billion times a day? How many women they will knock at my door every day? How many people they want to shake hands with me every day? How many devil want to partner with me every day? So when David, he's speaking to God, not God is speaking to David. This is a book written to God, asking for forgiveness. And the foolish one of you, he called David to prove a point. David is the last one to talk about being good. As you see, he himself, he confessed his sin. It's like saying to me, I'm going to ask a criminal how we can be good. This guy is saying to you, I was really criminal. I was so bad. To the point since my birth until now, nothing good of me. And then you quote, and you want to prove that this is the baby. Very foolish and very stupid. For us as a Christians, we don't follow a bishop. We don't follow David. Jesus said to the Jews, what do you say? What do you say of David? You know, the reason David poetry exists in the Bible, because David is a special person in the history of the Jews. Very special. And even Jesus by birth, by the flesh, goes all the way to David. But we know that Jesus, he don't agree that he is from David. See, David is an honor for every Jew, even though he was a very bad person, because he, you know, established a kingdom never before. Nobody had it before. He was a very special figure. He been given a glory nobody was given. If we go to Matthew chapter 22, we will see Jesus said to the Jews, what do you say? What do you say of David? What do you say of the Messiah? And that will tell you what they say about David. Even after all his sin, they are so proud of him. So, what do you say of the Messiah? What do you say of Yeshua? They said to him, well, he is a son of David. Then the Messiah said, and this is what count. You see, both statement is in the Bible. What the Pharisees said and what Yeshua said. What a person like you, he will quote what the Pharisees says, like the Muslims. They quote the one who is rejected to prove a point, not the one who is God. So they will quote the word of the Pharisees against the word of God. This is what those people do, because they are naive, ignorant. So when the Messiah was speaking to them, he said to them, what are you saying about the Messiah? Whose son is he? They were saying to him, the son of David. He said to them then, and how did David by the Spirit call him the Lord Jehovah's? For he said, the Lord Jehovah said to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I place your enemy under your feet. If therefore David called him the Lord Jehovah, how is he his son? So this is what you Pharisees do. You are so proud of David when David is the one, is a sinner, is a wicked man. If we count all our sin together, maybe we will not be equal to 1% of the sin of David. Womanizer, to the point he killed a man, he sent a man to die so he can take his wife. I mean, you name it, hundreds of women, you name it. Drunk. So, very funny and very shallow people. You are the same as the Mohammedan, those who post a comment, and obviously you did not read your book. Now, if I ask a person, is God just? They will say yes. Is it just that I will go to hell without committing sin? They will say no. Yes. How you say that the baby is born with sin? Justice mean, and this is what all the Bible says, that those who have received the law, they will be judged by the law. Do the children receive the law? They don't even know what Jesus means. They don't even know what daddy and mommy mean. So the silly you say a statement which is an insult to Christianity, an insult to God justice, when you say we are born sinners. Even Adam, when God, he created him, he did not create him as a sinner. Because if this is what happened, well, this is not just. This is exactly what Muhammad did. Muhammad, he claimed that God, he decided that Adam will commit sin 40 years before he created him. That is not our God. That is Satan. God in the Bible says he created Adam in his image. And the image of God is not the image of sin. God created Adam in his image. How dare you to say that we are created with the nature of sin? No, we are not. Even the fallen angel, he was created to be an angel. I mean, how more we can go farther to the point we are talking now about angels. And he is a high rank angel, not just an angel. Did God created him by birth? Can we use the word birth now? So people are shallow, you know, with their thinking. And we don't want to follow philosophy. We follow only statement of our Lord, our Savior. Anything else is a philosophy. Anything else is a philosophy. You bring a philosopher, he starts doing philosophy, and he would try to mix yogurt with ice cream, and all of them look white anyway, so let us eat. But the taste will really be really horrible. So when Jesus, he said, and this is what does count, not what David said about himself to the silly ones. I say and said, verily I say unto you. Who's talking? This is the Messiah himself. I wonder in this scenario who is your God, because look like maybe your God is David. The bad man, the drunk, the womanizer, the playboy. This is who is David. The Bible describes him in such a way, and he himself described himself in such a way. Because he was crying to God, asking for forgiveness. So he said, I say unto you, except you to become like those, converted like those. Like who? The children's. You cannot enter heaven. So imagine that those children themselves, they want to enter heaven, but if we become like them, we will enter heaven. Do you understand the stupidity of some comments? So why Jesus said, if you become like them, you go to heaven? What is the point? If they are born with sin, they are sinners. They didn't ask for forgiveness. They did not ask for forgiveness. They don't even know who is the one who's talking about in front of them. Jesus. Who is Jesus? They don't know. They are children. And those are not infants. They are children walking in their feet. He said, let them come to me. So being like a child is a condition in Christianity to be close to God. How stupid of you to say that we are born with sin. So when we as a Christian, we say the word, the original sin. The original sin is a sin is done, is not a fiction, it is not a destiny. It is a sin which is done, not a destiny. A man, his name is Adam, he did disobey God. The wage of sin is death. God said to Adam, you get out of here, this is a heaven, here there's eternity. Go live out of heaven. And because he is out of heaven, his children, they inherit death. Because everyone who is out of heaven, he die. There's no death in heaven. There's eternity. But doesn't mean that a child, he is a sinner. Sin is something you know what you are doing. This is why in Romans chapter 2, it says clearly that those who don't have law, they will be perish, but they will not be judged. How we can judge them if they did not receive the law? The Muslims will be judged. Why? Because they received the law. They received the news about Jesus. They have the Bible in front of them in their time and now. They rejected him. So they will be judged severely. But a person, let us say he lived in the jungles in the middle of nowhere, he never heard of the word Jesus. Is God going to judge him? We're not talking about child now. We are talking about mature adult man. God will judge him by what he knew, not by what he do not. For our God is a just God. So as you see, even when they asked Jesus how to pray, what Jesus said to them? Pray like this, our Father. And the whole Bible teaching us that we are the children of God. What is the point of being the children of God? What does that mean? Children present decency, honesty, salvation, a kingdom to be promised, a future to live. A children mean somebody is pure from judgment. Because you can say a child, he might commit sin. Like a child, he hold a knife in his hand, but he don't understand this is a knife. He don't understand that this is a knife. It's the same like a crab. You put him in the sink of your kitchen. He hold a knife in his hand, and you think like he is going to fight with a knife. He's a crab. He doesn't know even what the knife is. He's just holding something in his hand or his arm, whatever you call it. So Jesus is the one who we follow, and Jesus is the one who says who go to heaven, who don't go to heaven. Not your priest, not your bishop, not your stupidity. And if Jesus said, if you don't become the same as those little ones, that means this is the condition, and they are the first one to go to heaven. If they are born with sin, then why they will go to heaven? They have sin. They have sin already. They will go to heaven, my friend, because they did not have sin. When we say we have the nature of sin, we are talking about the second we understand life around us, we get tempted, and everybody fail. Everybody. We have a failure. We have experience with failure. So when the Bible says everyone sin, does not mean they're children's. Everyone is adult. Everyone is mature. Everyone understands what's happening. To do sin is to understand that this is even sin. To understand what sin means. To have guilt. When you start noticing that you're guilty, you start recognizing life around you. And you start recognizing what is right and what's wrong. So in a very early age, you don't recognize anything. If you put a poo-poo in the front of an infant or a little child, he is grieving in his belly, he will eat it. It's a poop. He will eat his own poop. He will grab it, put it in his mouth. You put a rock, he put it in his mouth. You put a ball, he put it in his mouth. Why? Because he is so innocent and he have no idea. Somebody's saying you must use King Version translation. It's translation, doesn't matter. For me, I use the Aramaic translation is better than all translations. This person says, and what this person is saying. People say things, and they mix things up. For us, the verse, one verse from Jesus is alone is enough to know that the kingdom of God is a promise to children before any of us. And us ourselves, in order to be in heaven, we have to be like the children. And the one who is like a child, he will be the greatest in heaven. The one who is like a child, he will be the greatest. This is how amazing it is to be like a child. Be careful when you say things, because you are insulting Christianity and you are insulting your Lord, being just with your foolishness. When you claim to be Christian and you start quoting verses from the Bible, you know the Bible, there's a place where Satan himself talk. Why don't quote me what Satan said? Quoting for me what David said is showing me that you do not know that this is a book written from David to God, not from God to David. It's like bringing a criminal from jail to witness, to teach us how to be good. You know, when somebody he tried to tell you about the original sin, he might try to confuse you by making you say, I can quote a verse from now. The Bible says everybody sin. Well, the Bible says everybody. Everybody, that's mean everybody. It says everybody. But do you understand even what the word sin mean? In order for the word everybody's sin to goes to child, that's mean a child, he know what sin mean. The Bible is a book written for people who have maturity, not for kids. So the Bible is speaking for those who can be judged, not those who they are out of judgment. And when Jesus said that if you could not become like those little ones, you cannot enter the heaven, my heaven, whoever humble himself, make himself like a little child, he will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, who is the one is going to debate Jesus and he is a bishop? You can bring all your bishops and they can try to, there is some people, they are really weird and they have a very funny ideas of Christianity, but the verses is so clear. And I follow Christ, I don't follow a bishop. We don't follow a priest. The one who follow priest, he will go with the priest. The one who follows Jesus, he will go with Jesus. Who is the greatest? Who is the greatest? That was the question. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Then Jesus called the little child. You see, Jesus can call Peter. Jesus can call any of his disciples, say, hey, this guy is the greatest. Aren't they the one who go and give their life, sacrifice their life for the Lord? Why Jesus, he chose a child? Did you ask yourself? Who is the greatest? It's not about even who is going to be in heaven. Who is the greatest? Are we following people? Do we understand what I'm saying? So the greatest of you is the one who is little like, he's talking to who? He's talking to the best men. He's talking to who? He's talking to the disciples, not an average person like you and me, who maybe we swim with sin every day. This is a conversation with the disciples. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And here you see to yourself, well, Jesus should say, I am. Aren't you the King of Kings? Aren't you the Lord? Jesus, he understand them very well. He knew they are asking about themselves, between ourselves. Who of us here is going to be the greatest? Jesus right away, he called a little child. Why Jesus, he chose a child to give an example of the greatest? I mean, the child is dummy, he's silly, he's whatever, you know. He don't understand how to write a word, how to say a thing. He's just a child. He selected a child for a reason. So the silly one who says that we are born with sin is stupid, literally. He's insulting God, that God is not just, and God made us a sinner, and then he will punish us for our sin. That is Islam. That is the Muslim belief in the garbage of Muhammad. Before Allah, he created us, he wrote our sin, our destiny. So we have to commit our sin, as he wrote for us. This is not Christianity. This is why Jesus said, not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of my Father, but the one who does his will. So if God, he forced you into the will of sin, then why God will judge you? And how you can choose God will if you are forced anyway? So only the one who do God will, and God will is to be like little children's, which means decency, honesty. A child. That's why you are called a child of God. And then somebody will say to you, oh, this verse is about being born again. I mean, the people are really idiot. What born again? This is a child, physical child in front of him. And those even children, they did not even get baptized yet. And maybe they are not even sons of those who follow Jesus yet. They are just children of Jews. So it's an insult to the Bible to say we are born with sin, and you are supporting those who attack Christianity, actually, because they want to use such a statement from a foolish mouth, like the mouth of those people who say such a thing. So they attack Christianity, say this is not fair, and absolutely it is not fair. We are born to the word of sin. We are born in the word of sin. So when we grow, everything around us, it says sin, sin, sin. Wherever you go, wherever you walk in the street, wherever you know, there is temptation, there is, and all of us, we fail. So, but it's not God who made us. You see, Jesus, when he come as a man, he did prove to us that I can be a man and I can be without sin. I can be a person like you. Yet money cannot tempt me. Women cannot tempt me. Authority cannot tempt me. Satan himself, he came to him and he told him, I will give you this, I will give you that. You cannot tempt him. So we say, well, God made us weak. This is true. We are weak. We are not perfect. But when God, he made us weak, he made us in his image, not in the image of weakness. We choose to be weak because we choose to be God. When God, he says to Adam, don't eat from this tree, which is symbolic for disobedience or obedience. Adam, he said to himself, oh, look like this tree, if I eat from it, I will be something better. Why he is saying to me, don't eat from it? I'm going to eat from it. So the evil thought is in heaven, not yet in earth. He is not even in the earth. The evil started in heaven, but not God. You see, the Bible, I can quote for you a verse, says, God created evil. You can say, it says there, yes, God, he created an angel, and this angel, he becomes Satan. This is how God created evil. But God did not create evil to be evil. He created angel to be an angel, and then the angel become an evil man or an evil, wicked person. Satan. So those who quote for me the book of David to prove a point, they are ignorant. For David himself there, he is confessing his sin. And he is being so humble, crying to God, saying, since I was a child, I'm wicked since my birth. Even when I am in the womb of my mother. Or a disciple of Jesus, he says, those people who refused Jesus, they were wicked since their mother womb. He is explaining to you that nothing good came from them since they're born. He's not saying they are wicked really when they are. What a person inside the womb would do. What is the wickedness would do? What exactly wickedness would do? So you can take things literally because you are a foolish man or looking for foolishness. Or you can take the wisdom of the words, which is speaking and describing people how evil they are. Tirmidhi, he is saying, do you want your God to be ignorant with diaper? Wear diaper? You see, Tirmidhi, you are a son of Muta. And as we heard from Muslim who called me last time, he said that the Prophet, the Muta, he called my mother Muta mother. I said to him, what does that mean? That means it's a whore. And now because you are a son of whore, you speak like a whore. And as long you are a whore, I will speak to you as you deserve. So look what you just did. You just said that Jesus is born. I will put what you said in the chat, in the screen. So what are you saying? That your God want to be ignorant like a baby and wear a diaper. Let me answer you, son of Muta, from your book. It's called the Garbage Quran. Isn't it your stupid book says that when Jesus, according to you, he was in his diaper, he spoke as the wise Jesus? So look like you are making fun of your stupid Quran. Isn't it this is the same Jesus in your Quran, you potato? Muhammadan, you insult, I will whip the floor with the face of your prophet if he have a face left. Chapter 3, verse number 46, it says that Jesus, he speak in the cradle. So what happened to the one who is insulting Jesus wearing diaper? Is that your stupid book, you son of Muta? And again, you just said that how he can be God, and yet he is ignorant, but the Quran says the opposite. Do you see how we got those potatoes busted? Stupid dummy like their prophet. I never saw one of them, actually. He has little intelligence. In your stupid Quran, in chapter 5, 110, it says, remember, Isa, remember, okay? Remember, I supported you with the Ruh al-Qudus, or Holy Spirit, and you spoke to the people in the cradle, what he spoke in maturity. Did you see it, son of Muta? Son of Muta, did you see it? Jesus in the cradle, he spoke in maturity. Your prophet, he was 40 years old, yet he is a teenage going after Aisha. 54 years old. So this is our Jesus in the cradle. He is speaking in maturity. Is he still alive or is dead now? He's not moving. His tail is not showing too. What happened to you, Tirmidhi? Is that your stupid book saying that Jesus, he spoke in maturity? Huh? Yet your stupid prophet, he was 40 years old and he sees somebody in the corner and then he asked his wife to prove it to him and then she did the striptease to him to prove that this is an angel of God? Don't play with me, Abdul. I will smash you. Remember, you are talking to the master of your God, the pagan God, the black stone vagina. A black stone kisser, he want to teach us about Jesus. Go suck it, lick it. Even Abu Bakr, he says, go and suck the clitoris of Allah. That is the black stone. The clitoris of Allah. So my friends, you see, the Muslims, they will use the statement of the foolish ones to insult Jesus. But they can't play with me. Here, their prophet is under my shoe. As always, we have all their laundries. Those words can play with different person. You are talking to Christian Prince. You did not learn your case yet? Learn and behave. Otherwise, tsunami will take your prophet from his grave and expose how he was stinky. Even Ibn Abbas, when they buried him, you know, the Muslims, they thought the Messiah and Muhammad is the same. So Muhammad, he died. They did not bury him for 3 days. Do you know what happened? His stomach, his belly become big like a potato. And the farts start coming. And Ibn Abbas, he said, ادفنوا صاحبكم فإنه يأسن كما يأسن البشر. Bury your friend, he stink like every human stink. The stinky prophet. And the liar Muhammad, he said to them, why did not bury him? Because Muhammad told them, you know what, when every Friday pray on me, okay, pray for me, pray on me. They said, how we can pray and you are dead? You know, what does that mean? And your prayer will come to me. They said to him, but how our prayer will come to you and you are going to be dead? He said, I did not tell you, Abdul, that Allah, he forbid the prophets, their body from decay. So they didn't bury him because he told them that the body of the prophet will not decay. So they did not bury him for 3 days. And then the stinky Muhammad started farting. Non-stop. And even the hadith describe how his nails colors change, how his fingers shrink. I mean, the guy is messed up. But the liar, he said to them, the body of the prophet will not decay. What the heck? So Muslims, why you don't take him from the grave, put him in a glass coffin, let see the whole world. If this is true, if we take now Muhammad from his grave, we will see Muhammad as a perfect cheesecake. Nothing is missing. Even his holy penis. I dare you. And then you will see how many people will convert to Islam immediately. Look, he's not even posting anything. The guy is dead. He ran away. He fainted. Anyway, we go back to our topic. So my friend, we are born into the world of sin, and we have the nature of sin in the meaning that we fail always, but we are not born as a children with sin. That is false. As you see, the Lord, he made it as a condition that the greatest of you, who? The disciples, not us. And I cannot compare myself to any of those disciples. How I can do that? Who is the greatest? Between those disciples is the one who become like this child. That is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So imagine we say, and the Messiah saying that the greatest is the one who became like this little child. And then we say this little child himself, he won't go to heaven. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like saying you have to become like an angel, and then the angel himself, he will stay outside. So we are born out of heaven. We inherited the nature of Adam, but Adam was not created as a sinner. That is false. The teaching of Jesus and the teaching of the Old Testament is the same. God created Adam in his image, and the image of God is not a sinner image. For God, he loved the world. If God, he loved us, how he created us as sinners? He did not create us sinners. God, he created angels. Even angels, they fail. But he did not create them. He created them as angels, not as Satans. So people have, misunderstanding. Somebody's asking, no kids in Sodom? No, even if there is kids in Sodom and Gomorrah, you see, God, he destroyed the city, right? Somebody asking a question about, this is a good question, actually. What about the kids in Sodom and Gomorrah, where God, he destroyed the city? You see, there is difference between you die and you go to hell. All of us will die. If there's anyone here he will not? Hey, everybody. Christian, not Christian, Muslims, Hindu, Buddha, believer, not believer, disciple, not disciple, doesn't matter. Every human being will die. Children of Sodom and Gomorrah, they die too, but not because they are sinners. God, he gave them life. God, he took life. God, he gave me life. You see, when we say a person, he died natural death, in fact, God killed him, but we don't use the word kill, but in fact, he did. When he created you, he decided that you will not live forever. He give you a life, will not go forever. He give you a physical body, will not live forever. So who is the one who took the life of the kids of Sodom and Gomorrah? God. And the one who will take my life? God too. But there's a person who is in Sodom and Gomorrah, was filthy, he will go to hell. And there's a person who commit nothing except he was in the city and he's a child of a sinner man. God took his life, he will not send him to hell. God will not judge people by a sin they did not commit. He will judge you by a sin you commit. When God, he sent the flood of Noah. The flood of Noah killed everybody. Everybody. There's children too. But God gave them life. God take life. But doesn't mean that those children, those babies who died, they will go to hell. No, they will. They did not commit sin. Why they will go to hell? But their parents, who the judgment came upon them, because of them, the flood came, those they will go to hell. And we can, quote tons of verses, but I find that there's, the two verses or chapters, Matthew 18 and Mark 10, is more than enough to describe everything. You see, Adam, because he is sinned, the sin he entered the world. This is the original sin. The sin of Adam came with him. He was a sinner when he came to this earth. And we are born in a society full of sin. And actually today sin is something they teach in school. They changed, the ethic changed. Sin is something beloved. Decency is wrong. People laugh at you. If a girl, she is 15, 16, 18 years old and she is a virgin, her friends will laugh at her. Something wrong with her. They force her into sin. They will bully her. In this world today, in order to be a good, you have to be a whore. And have to be ethical, you have to be joining the Democratic Party. And if you are not in their party, you are not ethic. You don't have ethic. You are evil. But we know that all of this is false. And the false come, the false go. All of them, they will go. And they will take with them their faith. In the book, in the Old Testament, when the children of Israel, the Jews, they were wicked and they were not doing the right thing, God, he forbade them, this generation, this evil generation, to enter the Holy Land, the Promised Land. But their children, because they are innocent, they've been given the land. We are talking about the generation which is really disobeying God. Yet their children are called innocent. Why they are called innocent if there's no child is honest? If every child is born of sin? And why God want to give them the promised land if they don't deserve it? God said is what we follow, not David said. David was confessing his sin. humbling himself down to ground, asking God for forgiveness, describing how unfaithful he was. Jesus said, from their fruits you shall know them. What is the fruit of the children? Ask yourself, and then we will know them. Is that fair? People, is that fair? When Jesus said, from their fruits you shall know them, didn't Jesus answer all the questions? Did he? Don't let the foolish one fool you. From their fruit, that means they have a fruit. And what is the child fruit? From their fruits, you shall know them. And this goes for everybody, everything. There's no exception. This goes for Christians, for Jews, for Hindus, for Buddhists, for Muslims, for anyone. Even for angels. We do not know any of you. We don't care to know you. We care for your fruits. And by knowing your fruit, we can recognize you. Either from the people of God or from the children of Satan. Be aware of false prophets who come to you in a sheep clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. I apologize if I say the word wrong. As you know, English is not my first language. You will know them by their fruits. That is the whole book. Jesus, he just taught us the whole Bible in one sentence. So in order to recognize if children will go to hell or to heaven, then we have to check their fruits. And you know that they have no bad fruits. Correct? It's going to be silly of you to say children have bad fruits. People will laugh at you. And you will laugh at yourself. And as you see Jesus speaking to men. The fruit of who? The fruit of men. And men here, it's mean you and men and women. The mature people. Because we are not going to expect fruits from somebody. He's a child. What fruits? I mean, this guy himself is in a diaper, and he need a pepperoni, and he need some food. And if you don't give me food, he will cry.
Chapter 7. Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite. First, remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you in pieces. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Or what man is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him. Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them.
Then,
For this is the law and the prophets.
this is the law and the prophets.
Enter by the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it. Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. And therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And so it was, when Jesus had ended these sayings, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
I mean to that. So my friend, as you see, it is a fruit which you will be recognized with, not when you are born as a baby, as some they say with their foolishness, you are born with sin. Nobody required, and God does not require the fruits from babies. He's speaking to growing men. The Lord himself, he made a condition. In order to be considered as a child of God, we have to have the heart of a child by age, which means by honesty. So don't listen to the foolishness of some, and don't make them fool you. Our God is always just. He judges only those who deserve to be judged. And who is the one who deserves to be judged? Is the one who have a bad fruits. And the one who have a good fruit will be judged too, but his judgment will be good for him. Listen to the Bible. Don't listen to the man. Don't listen to the man. Hibala, he's saying, what do you think about your the video of your Euphrates river drying up? Hiba Lahi, I don't know who is the one who said that to you. He is stupid. Euphrates is not drying up. They are talking about the one after the dam, the Turkish dam. The Turkish, they built, I think, 3 dams already, and they are not giving water to Iraq and Syria. So foolish is the one who says to you that the river is drying up. Secondly, if you are talking about your prophet saying that gold will come, will appear underneath of it, and then nobody will take it, that additional proof that your prophet is a false prophet, because As you see, people are desperate for money, and people will kill each other for money. So how nobody will take it? This is additional proof that Muhammad is a fraud. Even though this is out of our topic. And according to Muhammad, there is a mountain of gold under the river, which means there is a mountain will come from the river, or the river will expose a mountain by losing its water, and you will see here that people, they will fight. From every 100, 99 people will die. Is that what happened now? So those who make, you know, they cut the story, so you will not see the rest of it. So they will not see that Muhammad is a fraud. And on top of that, not to forget to mention, you're a stupid prophet. You think that Euphrates is in heaven. So look like when your God Muhammad, he went to the seventh heaven. He did not go to heaven. He went to south of Turkey. He said, Sihan wa Jihan wal Furat wal Nil, rivers of the heaven, of Jannah, as you see. So when Muhammad, he went to the seventh heaven, according to him, he saw 4 rivers coming from under the tree of Allah. One of them is the Nile. One of them is Sihan. Sihan and Jihan and Euphrates are in the north of Syria. And Euphrates is in Ethiopia. Sorry, the Nile River. So what kind of a prophet this prophet is? The stupid Muhammad, he heard that where God, he put Adam in the earth. This is the Bible. This is the Old Testament. God, he gave Adam a garden. That garden have those rivers. The stupid Muhammad, he thought that they are in heaven because he thought that Adam was in the sky. But in Christianity, Adam never was in the sky. The heaven or the garden was in earth. In the Quran, it is in the sky. And this is why we laugh at Muhammad again. So all of this, as you see, is a messed up prophecy of so-called prophet. Why you don't call your God Yahweh or Yeshua HaMashiach? My friend, why you don't call your God? This is additional like proof of a human being's stupidity. First of all, my God does not have a name. You see, when God, he said to Moses, Yahweh, like I am who I am, this is not a name. Moses, he said to him, what I will say to my people, what's your name? He said, tell them, my name is this. But this is not a name. So you are silly. This is why you see the Jews, they call him many names. They are not really names. In avoiding to give God name. So Hashem, etc. So there is no name really can describe God, and God does not have a name, for no name can describe him. He is a miracle. No words can describe a miracle. Not only he do miracles, he himself is a miracle. So this is silly of you about what to call my God. Even in the Bible, when Bible speaks, says Adam. Adam is not a name. Abraham is not a name. Isaiah is not a name. Israel is not a name. The foolish one think that they are names because this is a foreign language for you. All right? In the Bible, there is no names. There's a character and description. So when we say Moshe, the name describe what? The one who survived drowning of water. Same as the rest, Israel, you know, Gabriel, Emmanuel, Ishmael, Abraham. They are not names. They are title of a story of that person. His name is description of his life story. But ignorant one, they have ignorant questions. Why you don't call your God? My God will not be recognized by a name. Because if this is the case, any false religion, they will use the same name. And that means we are worshiping the same God. But this is false. The same as Jesus said, from their fruits you shall know them. That goes for our Lord himself too. How we recognize him? How we recognize the Messiah? From his fruits. Because talk is cheap. I can say I'm the Messiah. You can say you are the Messiah. Isn't it the Messiah? He says, many they will come and they will call themselves the Messiah. So who cares for the name? We don't follow names. We follow the person. Christianity is a personal relationship with the person of God, not a name. You are a name worshipper. We are God worshippers. And you know, some people, this is how some people, they live these days. You will see, you go in the Middle East, you will see a guy, he have, a Mazda car. He buy, what this thing, like in the front of the car, like the brand of a car, like he find in eBay, Rolls Royce, the sign of Rolls Royce. He put it in the top of his Mazda. That's it. His Mazda now is Rolls Royce. And this is what Muhammad did. He tried to hijack the name of Jesus. He tried to hijack the name of the God of the Jews. He's a hijacker. And the chapter we just quoted for you, it was about hijackers. They come to you in the clothes of a sheep, but in fact they are wolves. All right? Anyone want to give it a try? And some people, they say a lie and they repeat it and they believe it. You know? They believe it. There's some people, they convince themselves that they are rich. So they start spending like rich. They go with their friends who they have money. Or maybe they are stupid like them. They start spending from a credit card. At the end of the month, they get screwed. Or someone, she convinced herself that she is 17. So she starts dressing like 17. That's it. She believes she is 17, even if she is maybe 80. You can lie to yourself. And if you repeat the lie too many times, you will become the lie itself. You cannot get even out of it. Because the lie became your life. And this is Muhammad. He claimed to be a prophet. And then the second he have a problem, he says that God told me, go and ask the Christian and the Jews if I'm a prophet. Then he went to the Christian and the Jews and they told him you are a scumbag. He took it back. Any question? Do we have any Muslim here have a problem? Because you are here to solve your problems. You know, when Muhammad he have a problem, he told the Muslim to invoke Allah. So Muhammad once, upon the time, he have a problem with his private part. So he said, I was the most weak person between all mankind in sex. I mean, this guy, he have a lot of, nothing function in this guy. His brain is not working. His nose is not working. His heart is not working. His stomach is not working. And even his penis is gone. And the funny is, he go around and he tell the people what's happening. So he said, I was the most weak person between all mankind, and boom, boom. And then I invoke my God. And then he sent me a dish of shish kebab, and I ate it, I get the power of 40. But what does that mean? That means without the shish kebab, you have nothing. Have you ever heard of a God, he made shish kebab to fix a penis? What is the God who say B is going to be? The Muslim, they say is, if Allah wants something to happen, he say B. Here we go. He went to the kitchen. He put spices. God knows what kind of spices from India he put for him to make it work. Is that how God, he fixed things? Jesus, he did not go to the kitchen to make the blind see. He did not go to the kitchen to cook a recipe for the guy who cannot walk. He said to him, carry your bed and walk. Muhammad, his penis is not working. Allah will not fix it. He went to the kitchen. He cooked shish kebab. He sent it with the angel to bring. He cannot send it right away without anyone. It have to be sent with delivery. Because look like it's going to be lost. Can't Allah says, okay, shish kebab be in the front of Muhammad in second? No, he have to put it in a container, and then Jibreel, he put it in his back about that, and he fly from 7 galaxy to 7 heaven, to 7 floor, and then he go to 7-Eleven, and then he find Muhammad there, and then he give him the shish kebab, and then Muhammad, and the funny is, there's one of the stories says, that Fatima, she ate from the same dish. Did Fatima have the same ability of orgasm after that? The power of 40 men too? Because if he ate from it and he got the power of 40 men, and Fatima, she ate from it, she must be getting the power of 40 men. Man, what a woman. You need like 1,000 air conditioned to cool her down. She ate from the same shish kebab of a Prophet Muhammad. Anyway, guys, I have to go and make some shish kebab because I think I have the same problem. I have to be honest with you. Now I'm trying to fix it. After learning the hadith from Prophet Muhammad, I'm trying to find what is the recipe. So everybody, I cook shish kebab. Everybody shish kebab. Nothing is happening. But I changed, like I add today some curry, tomorrow I will add something different spice. Maybe we can find out, and maybe later we can sell it, make a lot of money from it, you know. I mean, that's it, you know, the shish kebab. If this is a solution, that's it. I wish I did not say that. Now the price of beef will go expensive. But I did. Oh boy. Imagine how many people now, they heard the recipe of Prophet Muhammad. Shish kebab will make your, you know, like you go home now, all of you will find your wife, she have shish kebab waiting for you. Honey, today I'm going to make you eat shish kebab. You say, no, I don't want to eat it. No, you have to eat it, okay? Enough is enough. Either you eat it, I'm going to divorce you. What a prophet. You know, we talk about the Messiah who walk in the water, who control the nature, who control the storms, who make the blind see, who resurrect people from death. Yeah, and Muhammad, you talk about God sending a dish of shish kebab for his penis. It's the same. It's the same logic, the same miracle. You know, shish kebab is shish kebab. It's a miracle of things. We have to agree. It's so tasty. Anyway, I hope we have a good time together today. Did we? So, my friend, fix your information about, you know, when we say we are born. You know, when we speak about the original sin, we are not saying that children are sinners. This is not what original sin is. Original sin, that there is a man, his name is Adam. He committed sin. And since then, we follow. But the nature is not the reason. It is our weakness. It is our rejection to God. It's our disobedience to God. This is why God himself will not judge Adam if he did not commit sin. It was his sin. It was his choice. If you are born with sin, that's mean Adam himself is made with sin. But this is not God said. God said, I made Adam in my image. And the image of God, my friend, is perfect. So he did not create him to be a sinner, the same as Satan. He created him to be an angel. But because we have a free will in Christianity, our free will is what we decide to do. And until now, we see nothing but failure of mankind to be totally obedient to God. But Jesus himself, he come to this earth with the flesh of a man, yet he did not commit our sin, to show us that it's not your flesh the problem, it is your will. This is why the verses we quote for you, when Jesus says, not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, but the one who do the will of my Father. So either you choose to do your own will, because we believe in a free will, or you choose to sacrifice your will, which is temptation, money, many things. You sacrifice them in order to gain the kingdom of God. So you choose which one you want. Most of people fail. That's why it says the gate is no, enter the narrow gate. Enter the narrow gate. The narrow gate represent who? Present people who will go to heaven. There's a wide gate. The wide gate present those who will go to hell. So I want to say thank you all for being here. I hope we explain our point of view, which is what the Lord said, not what I said. Never listen to the man. Always, if you want to get answers, don't be shallow when you read the Bible. Be smart, be intelligent. Don't let them explain things to you. The Lord himself will explain it. We know that some of us are not too much educated in the topic. It's okay to listen to this, to me. But you yourself, you have to go and research it carefully. Go, open your Bible and read carefully what I showed you today. Don't trust the man. Trust only the Lord. And he said, knock and I will open for you. Seek and I will give you. So why you don't do what he said? Don't seek an opinion of a bishop. Seek the word of God. For no wise between men, all men are foolish. And because we are foolish, we are out of heaven. We always run into our foolishness. You see those people today who they are like, you look at their, they are confused about their gender. Foolishness. I mean, it's amazing foolishness. A guy, he is not sure if he is a female or male. So what do you have between your legs? They want to have sex, but they want to kill the babies. They want to protect cats and dogs, but they want to do abortion. They speak of a human right, but they want to kill children. So, human being, his foolishness is the reason of destruction. Fight your foolishness, so you will not be destroyed. And the Lord, he said, don't fear those who destroy the body. The body will be destroyed anyway. It's nothing. But fear those who destroy your soul. For that, something you cannot fix. Don't listen to them. Even when they speak good, they are bad. Why? From their fruits you shall know them. And their fruits is everything against God teaching. Everything. And they will not stop until God curse come upon those nations. You see, the Bible says, my nation been destroyed because of their ignorance. People in the West or any countries, they think they are wealthy. They think they are strong. They think they are superpower. What you think is wrong. All your power can be disappear in a blink of an eye. A blink of an eye. God can take from you everything you have before even you think about how. Only foolish people, they think that they are powerful. You are not. There's many nations before you, God destroyed them. And you are no better. So the more you stay away from God, the more you will be doomed. We see right now in USA how many states are suffering from drying weather. Lakes are empty. Rivers are dying. The whole world is doomed It is a warning for a man who don't want to remember. The whole world, they speak about climate change. This is not a climate change. This is ethic change. Your ethic is going to zero, or maybe minus. And then God will punish you. This is not climate change. This is your ethic. They are doing everything wrong. And then whatever given to you will be taken. What you think is given to you for granted, you will lose it in a second. Same as your health. Doesn't matter where, Europe, Middle East, all those countries, we are, you know, they are doomed unless they repent. You see, still there's a point of repentance, because God, he says, if there is some few still they are good, I will not destroy them. The time will come and God will destroy them if they don't wake up and fix what they are doing. You know, they try to explain to you disaster by climate change, right? This is what they explain. Climate change. But this is not, you know, I mean, this is really funny about the climate change. Carbon and, you know, all this. One volcano is more than all the cars in the world for the coming 10 years. What climate change? But anyway, they claim that this is science. And then we find out that all those projects of science, they are made just to suck money and to deceive people and to lie to people and to collect money, to make money. Do you know that now, if you create an organization for climate change, governments in Europe and USA, they have to give you money? They have. Open an organization, research for climate change. You will see the money coming like rain. And then you take a nice ship, cost you zero because they paid for it, and you enjoy your life going between here and this ocean and the Pacific, and we are studying, we are searching for climate change. And after all the search, they find out that we did not find out anything. Actually, I saw an article. It says, you know, that they are one side of scientists, they are saying climate change will increase the heat of the earth. There's articles made by scientists too. It says that we are going to face ice age. So what science we are talking about? One is saying we will go to ice age, and the other one saying we will go to a high temperature. Okay, I'm going to live in the border. All right, we fixed the problem. Stupidity is amazing. Anyway, this is a different topic, but just to warn you about what people say, don't listen to them. Why do Arab people say Jesus mean Allah? Well, Arab people, they live under the Islamic ISIS occupation for 1400 years. If ISIS occupy your city for a week, they will force you to change the name of Jesus to Isa, and the name of your God to Allah. If you don't believe me, go and live there. You will see how nice they are. I mean, they use the word Allah and they kill them. So imagine if they don't use the word Allah. Anyway, I'm not worried about the ice age, because I will eat shish kebab and then I will get hot like 40 men. You know, let the ice age destroy me. No way. You know, shish kebab with some spice and curry from India, that will fix the problem, and you will start sweating like crazy. Hey Dennis, how are you, my friend? Don't forget to download my book in Tagalog language. We published just 10 days ago my book in Tagalog. It's for free. So in case you don't have it, my friend from Philippines, download it and share it with your friends. Yeah, but using the word Allah for Arab Christian is a stupid use. We fight it. I try to, you know, but you know what you can say, they are under the occupation for 1400 years. So now this is like became part of their culture. Like naturally they say the word Allah without even thinking. believe you because my Christian friend says Allah mean God. Yeah, but no, you see, Allah, this is the mistake. Christians in the Middle East, they use the word Allah meaning God, but it's false, because Allah is a name for the God of the Muhammadan. Is not a word meaning God. Is not a word meaning God. So Christian in the Middle East, they stop using the word Allah. You can use Rabbi, you can use Ilahi, you can use the Messiah, you can use Elohim, you can use any, there's many. Allah have nothing to do with them. If they can't find the word Allah in the Hebrew Bible, or in the Aramaic Bible, or in the Greek Bible, then we can use it. It's not there. This is why you see only those who live under the Islamic occupation, they use it. Only. You go a few meters out of the borders of Turkey, nobody uses it. Correct? All right. Any other question? Is a Christian persecution by Islam in the Bible? My friend, the Bible speaks about persecution. Doesn't matter who do it. Jesus said, time will come and people will think by killing you, they are doing favor to God. Doesn't matter which God. It can be Satan God. It can be the true God. But which means they will misunderstood you and they will hate you because of my name. Yeah, Allah is not Allah. Allah, Al is a word being God. Aha is a sound for God. Like, you know, like in the songs, it says, aha, in the Hebrew. This H at the end is like a sound, like you will not understand what I'm saying unless you sing it, and then you will see. So they write a sound of a word, but it's not a word. Like, when a Muslim now, they read Arabic in Latin words, Latin letters, they write letters which is not written in the word, just to make the sound. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, if I ask a Muslim, how you say Muhammad? You say H, but H is not there. Right? Same as in songs. In songs, the word, this is not part of the word, but they add it so when you recite the song, you don't forget to add the letter, which is a sound. It's not a letter. Elias is a troll. Will that mean they can block him? Okay. Any other question? And remember, we don't care really for a name. We are not for worshipper of a name. We worship in God. The name is not really what we follow. That's why we said that the Messiah said, many they will come and they will say they are the Messiah. So if we will follow a name, anyone he called himself the Messiah, we worship him then. We don't worship a name. We worship God himself. And our God is holy. It's not a name. Allah mean God in English. You see, this is the exact example of those stupid Muslims. They do not know. Allah mean God in English. Guys, Allah mean God in English. That's why I blocked him now. I mean, they are so stupid to the point to say such a thing. Allah mean God in English. No comment. Now I understand why they are asking me to block you, you idiot. How in English mean Allah? You idiot. Okay, so you Muslim, we ask you, what's the name of your God? You say Allah. So if you Muslim, you worship, you don't have a name for your God, then you should say Shahada. You say there's no Allah but Allah. Why you don't say in Shahada, there's no Allah but Allah? If Allah just a word mean God. Correct? Change the Shahada. Don't say there's no God but Allah. Say there's no Allah but Allah, which will make it even more funny. There's no potato but potato. There's no tomato but tomato. What a stupid religion. And actually, Shahada is very stupid. Why? Because you just deny God existence and then you confirm God existence. Either God is exist or not. So how you say there's no God, and then you say there is God? You just said no God. The second you say illa, it's mean except. Well, that's mean there's other gods. You just made an exception. How you make an exception of somebody? There's no one like him. He's the only one. You know, guys, what I'm saying? If I say all the students they fail except one, that's mean there's many students, and all of them they fail except one. Okay. Same for the Shahada. There's no God. That's mean there's no God. And then you said except Allah. Exception from what? From zero? People, do you understand what I'm saying? The exception have to be out of many, not out of nothing. If I say except, that's mean there's many. So where is the exception? If I say there's no rat, I just said there's no rats. And then I say except rat. But that's stupid. I just said there's no rats. If I deny the kind, the exception is not exist. I deny the existence of the kind. I said there's no God. This is one of the foolishness of the, you know, the second you start thinking about it, you will see how stupid this cult is. Mohammed, he reminded me of the admin of PalTalk. Once I was in the army. You know, when you go in the army, like you stay for some time away, right? So I disappeared from the internet, and for sure I cannot go live in the army, you know, USA Army. So I came back one day, and I opened my PalTalk right away, and I found Muslims, they have a chat room. It's called Celebrating the Death of a Christian Prince. So I went to the, you know, the co-admin. It's like, you know, the YouTube, like the one in charge in YouTube. But this is PalTalk. So they have a chat room where the co-admins, the employees of the company, they are there. So I sent a message to one of them. So he took me in a private. I said, there's a room. It says, Celebrating the Death of a Christian Prince. And as you see, I'm a Christian prince. The guy, he said, okay, so there is a room. I repeat again what you're saying. So there is a chat room, the name of it, it says Celebrating the Death of a Christian Prince. And as you see, I'm a Christian prince. Do you allow people to celebrate the death of somebody anyway? He said to me, he's thinking now. So are you saying to me that you are alive? I was going to, I mean, thank God this guy is not in the front of me. When I say stupidity is amazing, I can't describe that sentence. So he said, so are you saying to me you are still alive? I am a Christian prince. And you are asking me if I'm still alive. So who's talking to you now? I'm dead, I'm talking? He said, no, I'm just trying to make it clear. What the heck? You want to make it clear? And this is Muhammad. Allah is dead, but all Allahs are dead except Allah. That's mean there's many Allahs. There's no God but Allah. You just said no to God. That's mean Allah is not God. Yeah. I feel sorry for the wife of that guy. You can imagine how much drama she would have in her life. You know, she might wake him up in the middle of the night. She say, honey, there's somebody in the moving in the salon. He will say, are you saying that there is somebody moving in the salon in our house? Said, yes, honey. Said, so what is the proof that he is in the salon now, not in the kitchen? Honey, we need to do something. He might be a criminal when he kill us. Okay. Are you saying that it's possible that this guy will kill us? Just I want to make it clear. Yeah. Do we have any Muslim here? Any other question? Anything? Anything? Okay, look like we are out of questions, which is perfect. So now I can go and make shish kebab to fix the problem. I told you I have a problem. I don't want to share the problem with you, brother and sisters. Alhamdulillah, Allah, He told us to keep those things secret. And the funny Muhammad, he says that a person should not share his family secret around. Yet he go around and his wife, the husband yesterday, he was sucking my tongue. Like, what the heck? Why this have to be in Facebook? What kind of an ethical, decent woman Aisha is? The Prophet was sucking my tongue. What he was sucking else? There's anything else? Did you suck anything else too? Tell us more. Okay, what happened? What happened? After he sucked your tongue, where he stop? Have you ever heard of a stupid religion like this? Where is decency? Imagine you go to visit somebody, and the wife, she start telling you that her husband, when he, he suck her tongue. Like, this is a. By the way, there was the conversation these days. They are normal. Sadly, it's like normal thing to happen. But this is a hooker talk. No, we don't have Isa. Isa does not exist. We never heard of Isa. Never. The first time we, as Arab Christian, we heard of Isa is in the stupid Quran. We do not know who's Isa. Who's Isa? It's not even close to the name of the Messiah. In Arabic, we call him Yeshua. Yeshua. Which is coming from the word Yeshua. All right. All right, guys, I think we have enough for today. I hope we did share some with you. And again, the Lord, He says, read the books, search them, study them. Don't depend on people to explain things to you. God gave you a gift. But remember always, that there's no teacher beside the Lord. There is some people, they will try to take verses, and when they want, they take them literally. When they want, they take them metaphorically. We don't want to do that. We take it as the Lord, He meant it to be. Not as I meant it, but as He meant it. So when the Lord, He says, if you don't become like those children, He mean a physical child who He have him in front of Him. It's not a metaphorical. It's a real child standing in front of the Lord. So if you don't become like those children, which means those children for sure, they are granted heaven for a very simple reason, for they are innocent, for they never commit sin, for they are natural as God made them. We lost our nature of how God made us when we become older. God by nature, He made us innocent. So we are born innocent. Then when we grow, we lose our honesty because we desire what does not belong to us. And we start damaging the temple of God, which is our body, which God, He gave us to us as a gift. We don't own it. This is why I say that if you are a person who put tattoos in your body, this is not a Christian behavior, or this is not your body. You don't own it. You see, these days people, they say, I own my body. That is false. If it's true, keep it then. I challenge you. You don't. So God, He gave you soul. God gave you body. Give Him back what He gave you as He gave you. And this is our problem, is how to return back what we received in a good condition. You see, when we speak about leasing a car, when you bring the car back, there's an inspection will happen. They start checking how many scars you have on the car, how many scratches, how clean it is, from inside, from outside, in the trunk. That's what God will do to you. He gave you a body perfectly clean. Why you want to give it to him perfectly damaged? And the more you damage it, the more you are going to go to hell. The more you bring it, the same as a little child, the more you are close to him. I hope we made it clear in very simple words. And the Lord himself, he spoke in parables, so we might understand. Thank you all. May the Lord bless you. This is your brother Christian Prince, who is serving you humbly today. And until we see you again, don't forget to make a comment, share, download, and tell your friends. And for sure, don't support us, because you will not anyway. Many of you, they are here just to laugh. And the one who laughs at the end is the winner. Let us see who is he. Glory to his name. His name is holy. His act is holy. He is a miracle. Not only he does miracles. This is how we recognize our God, not by name, but by action. Thank you.
But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him,